All right. Well, welcome everybody. Why don't we just start by just putting into the chat where you're calling in from? And I'd love to know if you got my original email that said that had some of the journal that had the journal prompt in it. What's been gestating for you over the last few months, especially if you were at Nourish the Flame? What's been coming up for you, or what have you noticed since then, if anything? And if you weren't at Nourish the Flame, it's no problem. Just what are some of the seeds that feel like they are gestating as we're coming now into spring equinox, which is actually tomorrow at 5:01 Eastern time. Would that be 4:01 a.m. Central time and 2 o'clock in the morning here in the Pacific area? So this is why I wanted to do this today. I wanted to do it as we move into the equinox, because in Chinese medicine, as some of you know probably already, this is a time when it's like the peak of spring energy. So the energetics of spring it's happening now. It's not in the Western calendar. I think we think of spring equinox is the beginning of spring. This is really more the peak of spring. We're shifting over from yin into yang, and it's a time when it's really important to kind of start to embrace what it is that we want to bring forward, what it is that we want to bring out, what it is that's pushing up through the, from the winter of the earth coming up into the sun. So, um, I think that I want to just start out by just talking. Let me just double check something. Okay, so I, I want to talk a little bit more about it, and then we'll of course go into movement. Um, the liver actually has more than 500 functions in Chinese medicine. Its main focus is detoxification, but it also governs our hormonal balance, cholesterol levels, weight, and so forth. And one of the things that always impresses me about the liver is its capacity to regenerate itself. So just like our skin, it has the capacity of rebuilding cells. So one of the lessons that tends to come from the liver has to do with resilience and regeneration. And I think that there's no better time, at least for me, to not just in terms of the spring, but in terms of what's happening, the kind of chaotic things that are happening in our world right now, to really start to look at what it is that we can bring forward and up and out, either if you think of it as in service or in self-care. And of course, those two things need to be hand in hand. So any seeds that you planted over the last few months, anything that you sort of been tending to are starting to sprout, and some of them, of course, are still dormant, but it could be something like a relationship or a project. It could be, it could be a commitment that you have to yourself. And what's happening right now is it's like kind of hard labor. I don't know, for those of you who I haven't had children myself, but I've been a doula for several births, that time of hard labor where there's a push going, and you can hit anger, you can hit discouragement. The emotion that's associated with the liver is anger. The color is associated as green. The taste is sour. There's a lot of things that I can say about the associations with the liver, which is the springtime organ in traditional Chinese medicine. But the quest or the intention is, how do we move around those obstacles, move around the discouragement, move through the anger, and find where flow is. The physical and emotional symptoms of a liver out of balance include headaches and teeth grinding, eye issues, feeling hot a lot, PMS for those of you who are still bleeding, fibroids, prostate issues, inflammation, hip pain, waking up between 1 and 3 a.m. Those are all symptoms of a liver out of balance. And on the emotional level, it can be feeling restless, feeling frustrated, feeling stuck, feeling, like life is frustrating, or feeling irritable, or angry, or even rage. And I think that when there's this sense of something pushing through, like in labor, when a woman, several people that I was attending to as they were birthing, it was like one of them, I remember saying, I just can't do it anymore, as though somehow you could stop it. So there's that sense of discouragement, but then there's that final push to move things through. To help your liver and gallbladder, You want to try to stop eating about 2 to 3 hours before you go to sleep, because overeating creates more pressure on the liver and on the gallbladder. So you want to eat to the point where you feel satisfied, and if you feel like you could eat a little more but don't, that's probably a good place to stop. Whole grains like brown rice, barley, millet, spelt, oats, wheat berries are all helpful. So is quinoa, which isn't really a grain, it's a seed. But you want to avoid crackers and breads and bagels and things like that, cereals, even anything made from whole grains, even when it's made from whole grains, rather, it's if it's dry or baked, then that's something that's not particularly helpful for the liver, because the liver likes the temperature of spring, which is warm and moist. You want to emphasize a lot of leafy vegetables, probably always, but especially at this time of year, including kale and, let's see, I've got a list here: collards, bok choy, Napa cabbage, watercress, mustard greens, leek, daikon tops, carrot tops, radish tops, turnip tops, dandelion greens, things that are pushing upward. So asparagus is a really big one at this time of year, or artichokes. Um, uh, Drinking dandelion root tea is really good. Ginger also helps the circulation, helps to clear out toxins and fight pathogens. The turmeric is a good for decongesting the liver, and it improves blood and qi flow as well. Eating sour foods 3 to 4 times a week to release stagnation in the liver and gallbladder. So I know for me, and a lot of us do, I think drink lemon water in the morning. It's a really good way to start the day and support your liver. Um, and you want to, some of the sour foods that you can eat: sauerkraut, Granny Smith apples, apple cider vinegar, um, anything that you want to minimize cooking and have more sort of not baking, but more blanching or steaming or quick sauteing, juicing. Raw foods are good at this time of year. So think light and fresh as opposed to hearty, and think green. The other thing that I wanted to say before we start moving is that the metaphors for spring are planting, cultivating the soil, weeding, fertilizing, tending to the garden, being with the unfolding of what may be, like I said, what's just been gestating in you, um, working with uh, resistance as a way of strengthening your resolve, renewal, rebirth, and birth. And then the Way of Joy Qigong focus for the spring is birthing new ideas and projects and nourishing what's coming forward and growth. So those are all some notes that I had taken this morning as I was sort of meditating and thinking about you all. And I'm so glad, again, to see you, and so glad that you joined us. So, hi, Beth, welcome back. Good to see you. Hi, Amy and Priya. I'm glad that you're here. Hi, Roya. We're going to go ahead and start moving. I think I've said everything I wanted to say about the liver, but if you have any questions or comments, you can just go ahead and put them in the chat. And one of the things that I asked people, if you came in a little late, is to put in the chat maybe whatever some of the seeds that you've been planting or taking care of, or gestating over this last few months, over the last 3 months, particularly the first quarter of the year. Okay, so let's go ahead and stand up, and let's begin to move. So we're going to stand with our feet a little wider than hip distance apart, and we're going to just begin by shaking. And as you shake, you're going to just relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows, let your hands just dangle at the bottoms of your wrists, let your shoulders move, let your head wobble a little bit. Relax and breathe. And as you do this shaking, just imagine that you're just very, very gently starting to move energy around, and particularly in the middle of your torso and the organs. Anything that feels like it's not helpful, you just want to imagine even brushing it out of your body. So it could be, unhelpful thoughts. It could be physical issues. It could be, things that are emotionally you're clinging on to. We're just going to let ourselves see what we can do to just shake it off, so you can be as present as possible for our time together. And thank you for coming on a hump day right in the middle of the week to nourish and attend to your qi. I think that that's a beautiful statement about you. All right, so let's go ahead and put the hands on the hips, and let's begin to circle the hips around. And take it nice and easy. If you've got hip issues, which I know a couple of you may, don't push into it, right? I've had one person who really was going to go gung ho, and she, it was not good. She ended up with pain afterwards. So I want you to really be very attentive to what feels right for you. But basically, as we circle, let's go ahead and go in the other direction. As we circle, this is a place where we integrate information in the lower dantian. So I know I just threw a whole bunch of data at you, and it doesn't matter if you remember it all or not. You can always watch the recording, which you'll be getting later, if you're interested. But the sense of letting your body sort of go, okay, I know that the real thing that I want to do right now is be sure to drink ginger tea, or what I really want to do is be aware of my irritation or my anger, go around the other direction. Because when we move qi through the liver, what they say is we're bringing in a sense of kindness and forgiveness, which I always say, and some of you have heard me say this for years, starts with the forgiveness of yourself. Sometimes it's not about taking care of the other person, it's about taking care of your own heart. And let's go around the other direction again. And change again. I think some of you have heard this story before, but several years ago it was around this time of year, it was right before equinox. You can stop circling the hips and bring your feet hip distance apart, soften your knees and circle the shoulders. So it was right before equinox. I was driving on the freeway here in California, and somebody was tailgating. They were right up close up to my back bumper. I was going speed limit. I wasn't going to go any faster. And he ended up pulling out and then passing me and flipping me the bird as he passed me. And my very first thought was, oh, there's a liver out of balance, because it was, he was so frustrated by whatever it was that was keeping him from doing what he needed to do in the timing he needed to do it. So it's the sense that, road rage, look out for that when you're driving, if you do drive. That tends to spark up a lot at this time of year. And of course, we know here in the States, anger has become pretty prevalent as the divides among us have increased. I don't know how that is for you guys there in Canada, but it's quite an interesting time to be alive. I was listening to Jean Houston last night, who was saying this is a time of great transformation, and there's something very big being born. So I really like that. I really like thinking of this being a time where we're birthing a new paradigm as the old one starts to dissipate. Okay, so as you do this movement, let's focus on the shoulder blades. So shoulder blades coming together as your elbows go back, they come apart as your elbows go forward. It should feel nice and easy in the joints of your shoulders. If it doesn't, you just can do something smaller. And for those of you who don't know me, if there's anything that I do that feels like, oh, this doesn't feel right for my body, figure out what does, or unmute yourself and ask me, because I always have alternatives for every single exercise I teach. So there's always ways to work around it. I've worked around it with a lot of my own injuries. So I have a lot of practice with thinking about alternatives. Let's go around and go back, one arm at back and then the other. And you're going to follow your hand with your eyes, relax your shoulder, relax the space between your eyebrows, relax your jaw. So you're circling back, but you're not hunching the shoulder at all. Your eyes are circling inside of the eye socket, because the liver does rule the eyes. And so we want to be able to relax the cilia muscles, which are the focusing muscles of the eyes. So let your eyes circle, follow your fingertips all the way around. Let's do one more time on each side. All right, good. And then relax, shake it out again. And let's go ahead and drop the head over to one side. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, relax that opposite shoulder down. Relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows again. But want to pull that shoulder down so you feel a pull along the side of your neck and the top of your shoulder. Inhale, release. And exhale, pull down. And inhale, release. And exhale, pull down and reach out the fingers, one finger at a time. Little finger, fourth, middle, index, thumb, and then rotate back and forth. Okay, Relax that jaw. Soften the space behind your knees. So for those of you, especially if you practice yoga or something like that, where some in some postures tend to lock the knees, you want to keep them soft and pliant, which keeps you connected to the earth. All right, let's look down and bring your chin in towards your collarbone. Take your back shoulder forward, up, back, and down. Again, forward, up, back. So it's very similar to what we did when we had our hands on the shoulders. One more time around. And then bring the shoulder down. Let your hand move down the back of your leg slightly. And then just release that pressure. Turn your head, keeping it tilted, but you're looking back forward towards the screen. And then look up towards the sky or ceiling. And then back towards the screen. And down and up. And again, look down and look up. One more time, look down and bring your head to the center and just let your head hang here for a moment and shake out your head, just like you're saying no to something lying on the ground. And then bring your hands to the back of your head, lace your fingers, bend your knees, and just gently point your elbows down towards your feet. Tuck your pelvis forward and then release it. So you're going to just gently bring the tailbone forward and then release. I don't know if you can see with this. So again, forward and then release. And come up with the head, bring your arms out and down, and let's go over to the second side. So bring your shoulder down, exhale down, and inhale, release. Pull down as you exhale, and inhale, release. And again, pull down and release. One more time. Let's go pull down and reaching out one finger at a time, and then rotate the arm back and forth. And then we're going to turn the head and bring your chin in towards your collarbone. That's going to increase the stretch along the back side of the neck. And then keeping your knees soft, bring your other shoulder, your back shoulder forward, up, back, and down. And again, forward, up, back, and down. One more time around, full circle, relaxing your jaw as you go. And then bring it back and down and hold it there for a moment. And then release it and turn your head to look forward towards the screen, keeping your head tilted, and then look up. And so we're going to go just on this axis, down and up, keeping your head tilted in your own timing, but just nice, easy, slow, even, rhythmic breath. One more time, looking down towards the ground. Bring your chin down towards the center. And now we're going to tap up and down the back of the neck. I'd like you to bend your knees and curl forward slightly, as you are able. And as you do that, just feel like you can tap the tops of the shoulders as well. And behind your ears for the gallbladder meridian. And then gently brush down the back of the head, one hand and the other, just like you're taking any brain mutter, anything that keeps you from being present for our time together. Just drop that down to the earth where it can compost. You can access it later. But for right now, this time is about you. Inhaling, coming up, exhaling, coming out. Bring your elbows together, lift your chest up, and then release and bring your hands behind you, lace your fingers, squeeze your shoulders together, lift your hands up, soften those knees, and lift your chest up. So you're pulling down with the hands and lifting up with the chest. And then release, and hands come back onto the hips and circle around and around the other direction. So I'd like to begin today with a practice I call Eye of the Storm, because I don't know how you guys are feeling, but for me, I feel like there's a lot of chaos going around, especially here in the United States. I know you're not all in this country, but that and the people watching the recording also from other countries. But as this is happening, there's a swirl that happens here, and I know it emanates out. So we want to be able to look at how do I stay centered, grounded, aligned, no matter what's going on, so that I can come and be in my strongest or most empowered self, your power of presence. So you're going to make fists with your thumbs on the outside, and bring your elbows back. Hands come into your waist. And of course, many of you know this form very well from working with me over time. You're going to soften your knees, drop that tailbone, drop your sits bones. And the first thing I want you to do is just feel the connection between your sits bones and your heels. Then bring your focus to the ball of your big toe, the ball of your little toe, and your heel. And you want to feel yourself balanced in between those 3 points on the bottom of each foot. Now, right below the center of the ball of your foot, there's a hollow. That's your kidney 1 point called bubbling wells. And it's where we connect to our grounding. So I want to have a sense that that grounding is solid. And as you stand here, we're going to just move around a little bit over the feet randomly. You don't have to follow what I'm doing, but just randomly, just explore how your feet can just adapt as you shift that weight. So we're not letting ourselves tilt so far forward, the heels come up, or so far back, the toes come up. We want to keep those feet planted like they're in sand, and feel the roots go from below that bubbling wells point, right below the center of the ball of your foot. Okay, and then come to center. So the form is like this. You're going to take your arm across. You're going to look at your fingertips. Watch your fingertips as you go back behind you. Watch your fingertips as you bring your arm back straight ahead towards the screen. And then you're going to imagine that you take this circle that you just designed and grabbing it with your hand and then bringing that rim into your solar plexus area, into your waist. Okay, second side, same thing. So we're reaching out. And as you go back, shoulder stays relaxed. And you're watching your fingertips, and you'll see that the room looks like it's spinning in the opposite direction. Your hand probably looks still. And so that's a very Taoist thing, right? We have movement inside of stillness and stillness inside of motion. So exhaling as you go across. Inhale. So we're becoming friendly with the idea of being able to be still in the face of whatever might be happening, and also to have a sense that internally there is motion happening, right? So the stillness and motion, motion and stillness is a critical piece of working, I think, particularly as the liver is activated in these days, and as we're going through what we're going through on a social, political level. And inhale, coming in. So we're going to exhale across, relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows. Inhale as you come back. Exhale as you come forward. And inhale, drawing in that place of being comfortable with stillness and motion right into your core. Exhale. Inhale. And it's fairly slow. I'm going a little faster than I would normally, but it's a fairly slow movement. Exhale and inhale. Let's do one more time each side. Exhale, inhale, exhale, and in. Check in with yourself. Are you clenching your teeth? Make sure there's a little space between your top and bottom teeth, and ideally your tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth behind your front teeth. This is it. Coming back, exhaling as you come back. And inhale. All right, now here we are with these fists at the waist, or what's called chamber position. What I'd like to do now is a medical qigong for the liver. You're going to bring one fist forward towards the screen, and you're going to press through the front 2 knuckles, the index finger and middle finger knuckles. Push through that, pull your shoulder down, especially in the back. Think of your shoulder blade sitting in a saddle there, the scapula sitting down in the back. And then as you pull it in, bring it into chamber, the palm turns up and the other hand comes forward with the palm down. All right, so we're just going to go back and forth. One palm down, back hand is turned up, and the other hand is down. So as you do this movement, you're just going to breathe nice and easy. And I'd like you to let to the degree you're able, to let your waist turn slightly without impacting your knees, without turning your hips, just your waist is going back and forth. And as you do this breathing with it, let's try an exhalation with one hand and an inhalation with the other. So it's an exhale And inhale, and the other arm, the elbow, is going to pull way back. So you're having a sense of really stretching through that back elbow. So breathing back and forth, and I don't really care. You can whatever kind of breathing pattern you want to do. The main thing is to have a sense of it being even and smooth and slow. So as slow as this movement. So you're matching it with the extension of your arm and the pullback of your elbow. So this is a very simple one to do. And for those of you who find yourself feeling irritable or moments where you feel like, or frustrated, this movement, you can just imagine just that what it is has to do with, it's going right from your solar plexus, right, which is really about the will and being able to push through anything that feels like it's stagnant or stuck, being able to push through your own resistance, to be able to just stay with your eye on the prize. With this movement, I always think about the time I did a fire walk where you just have to really focus when you're walking across hot coals on what the direction is that you're taking, what the goal is that you're intending. That's what this particular movement is like. It's like a very lightweight um, fire walk. All right. So again, wanting to shift movement in the liver, keep that stagnation moving so that as we do that, the liver teaches us resilience, being able to bounce back, being able to stay with our own sense of purpose. All right, good. Then we're going to clap your hands together, rub them fairly briskly, so you start to feel some heat between your hands. And then we're going to take the left hand onto the right side of the body, which is where your liver is, and the other hand is coming onto the back. Now, if you have a shoulder impingement, you can put your hand either on the side of your waist or on top of the other hand. But if you don't have a shoulder issue and it's not bothering you, then to have one hand on the front, one hand on the back. And what we're going to do now is we're breathing, relaxing the shoulders. This is called baking the liver. And we want to have a sense here that you want to see if you can feel the warmth from your palms going in and nourishing the liver. The liver needs support right now. So we're going to just gently push that top hand, front hand on the front of their body in towards the liver. Just push it in. And the back hand is just going to move back a little bit, just it's receiving. Then the backhand pushes and sends from the palm into the front palm. So you're just imagining like a river. The liver is very spongy. And so it's like the way blood goes through it, it goes back and forth like this river. So you want to have the sense that you're just increasing or encouraging the blood flow because qi rides the blood. And as you do that movement, just keep your breath again, slow, even, rhythmic, deep. Back and forth, easy does it, back and forth. Relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows. Notice if you're starting to feel a little warm on the right side there. And we're coming out of the winter. The winter is connected to the kidneys, and the kidneys represent water. And so we're water, and the liver represents wood, which is sort of new growth. And so the water feeds the liver. So let's do a little bit of a kidney move just to feed the liver. So take the back of one hand and place it on your opposite kidney. So if you're on your right hand, you'd be putting it on your left kidney, left hand on the right kidney. And we're just going to dip down into an imaginary pool of qi, of water, and it's going to and come back up, and just imagine that energy traveling down your arms into your kidney. So inhale as you go down, and exhale as you imagine energy traveling down your arms to your kidney. And again, inhale and exhale.
Vicki,
Yes.
I have a question. Why the back of the hand on the kidney versus the palm?
You know, that's a great question. It's because in this particular form, as I learned it, it's the yang part of the hand. The back of the hand is the yang. And so you're wanting to bring yang energy into that kidney.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking, Kathy. All right, let's go ahead and change sides. And inhaling and exhaling. And in and out, and in, and out. And one more time, inhale and exhale. And then let's go back to nourishing the liver. Front hand pushes into the back, from the back to the front. And then the front to the back, and the back to the front. And close your eyes for a moment. And as you breathe, I'd like you just to take a moment to feel for your own sense of resilience. In fact, let's bring both hands to the front of the liver, one hand on top of the other. I don't care which one's on top, but we're going to just let the palms just rest on the liver here, just bringing our attention to the right side of your body. And as you breathe, just to take a moment to ask yourself, what is resilience for you right now? What helps support you in resilience, in that sense of building up again, going through whatever it is that may hold you back? What would resilience mean for you today? And what do you need to feel like, what would help you feel more stamina, more strength, and be able to really support the birthing or the emergency, right? This is a time of emergence that would help support you in this time of things coming forth in you, particularly the things that you do in service or the ways in which you show up for your family, for your community. All right. Then open your eyes, and we're going to just align heaven, human, and earth quickly. Now, today we're mostly going to be focusing on Blossom in the Spring, which is a seated form, but I really love to have this alignment working with us. And, as we move into the spring to summer series, we'll be working more and more with aligning heaven, human, and earth through a universal integration form. But today we're focusing on Blossom in the Spring, because Blossom in the Spring is all about being with the cycles of nature and the cycles of our own energetic patterning. So we're going to just begin by aligning, starting with the heaven realm. For those of you who don't know me, really briefly, the heaven realm represents your guidance. It's called Shen. It represents your guidance. It represents the sense of being connected to the divine, to the whole picture, that sense of being able to look down on earth as if though you were flying way up in the cosmos and seeing your life as maybe like a little ant in an anthill. So it's just really about perspective, about being able to connect to whatever it is that your higher self might say. So whether we think of that as God or goddess or your own personal wisdom. So we're just going to go for the shower here. Inhale up. And as you exhale, you're drawing energy down through your crown. And imagine infusing your body with light in all the cells of your body, from the hair on your skin all the way down to the marrow of your bones. You're going to inhale as you come up. And exhale, just gently infusing yourself with this sense of lightness of being. And again, inhale, coming up, shoulders are down. And then exhale, feeding yourself from your crown down through your face and throat, down through your heart and solar plexus, down through your hips, legs, all the way down to earth, even though the hands don't go down there, they point in that direction. One more time, coming up. And then bring your hands to rest on the head for a moment. And you're going to let your fingers come to the crown of your head and the palm heels, the base of your palms on the temples. And we're going to just exhale and press into the temples with your palm heels. And let your fingers pull the top bones here in the skull apart slightly. So you're pushing in with the palm heels, pulling apart with the fingers, and then relaxing the hands and just letting the hands move about, I don't know, an inch or two from contact. So we're going to exhale, press in. This looks very good. And then inhale, open. And exhale, press in. And inhale, open. And again, press in and inhale, open. And then place your hands on your lower abdomen for a moment and close your eyes. Take a moment to breathe, relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows. And as you breathe, I'd like you just to listen for your own guidance, particularly in terms of resilience. What helps support you to be resilient? What is your guidance telling you about resilience right now? Good. All right. So let's do the movement again. Inhaling up and exhaling down to the lower dantian. Again, up. So you're just taking whatever that message was or whatever that feeling, maybe it was a feeling, not a thought, coming down through you. What does the guidance tell you that you need to know to be resilient? Inhaling up and exhaling down. Okay, what I'd love to do is actually, if you would just unmute yourself, and I'm going to try to do this just popcorn style. Just say one or two words of what that resilience is. What the guidance, I'm sorry, what your guidance says about resilience. I didn't say that well.
Surrender and love.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jeff.
Step into it.
Step into it. Who is that?
Me, Sandra.
Hi, Sandra. Step into it.
Connected.
Connected, Kathy.
Joyful and bouncing back.
Joyful, bouncing back. I love that, Arlene.
To keep going no matter what.
Keep going no matter what. Yes.
So, control my own mood.
Say that again.
Control my
Control
own,
your.
in control of my own mood.
You're in control of your own mood, or did you say
Mood.
mood?
My own emotion, my own mood.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Going with the flow of what's around me.
Going with the flow of what's around you.
Move forward.
I'm sorry.
Move forward.
Move forward, Amy. Yes.
Staying centered and strong, and what I need to be revealed will be revealed.
Beautiful, Betty Ann. Yes.
Keep dancing.
Okay.
Catherine, go.
Keep dancing.
Keep dancing. And Rosie, was that the other person who was speaking?
Yeah. Adapt and believe in myself.
Yes, adapt and believe in yourself.
Stay focused.
Focus. Roya, did you speak? Okay, somehow I missed it. All right, good. Thank you, everybody. Did everybody speak? Hi, Joelle. I'm glad you're here. So good to see your name pop up here. Okay, so if you have a question about that, go ahead. You can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask me, but otherwise I'm going to move us on to the next level. Okay, so hands come onto the heart here. And as you're here with your hands on your heart, again, feet are hip distance apart, soften your knees, feel your tailbone drop to your heels, like your tailbone, I'm sorry, your hips topping down to your heels, tailbone resting on the floor, like it's a big, long kangaroo tail just resting on the floor. I've just recently looked at kangaroos. They are super buff. But anyway, you're going to feel like at the same time that the back of your neck is really, really long and the top of your head is really lifted, right? So you're lifting up and you're grounding through the ball, the big toe, little toe, and heel, and feeling yourself connected with soft knees, okay? And hands are going to circle around the chest now. So we're going into what I call the human realm, the center here of the Wave Joy system. And the heart is all about our ability to show up as ourselves and to take that wisdom that we just had and make it really personal, know what it is that means, how that gets expressed in your life. Let's go around in the other direction. And so it could be very topical. It could be just in terms of what you're dealing with right now, or it could feel like what is your own personal purpose or passion that lives in your heart. And circling around. And the human realm also has to do with our interconnection with one another, with the world around us, with the earth itself. It has to do with our heart, what we care about, what we love, we feel convicted about, what we feel committed to. And it has to do also with our ability to be at peace with our strengths and our limitations. So really being able to embrace the whole of who you are. All right, so we're going to do the opposite of the shower, which is the Wei Qi field. Here we're opening up, and I particularly love talking about Wei Qi because it's all about who you are and how you step out into the world. It's also about your boundaries, boundaries being the expression of what you think, feel, believe, what you choose to do or not do. So this Wei Qi field is all about external expression. Wei Qi means externalized expression. And when we do this movement, what we're doing is we're imagining from the heart and the solar plexus all the way out through the tips, especially of your middle fingers, which are the heart fingers, all the way around you. You're just filling up the space, letting yourself be as big as you truly are. All right, so as you breathe, inhale, coming up. And exhale out, relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows, and just imagine yourself letting yourself be full, right? Be filled with your own sense of love and joy, which reside in the heart. The heaven realm, which we were accessing before, is wisdom. Now we're in the place of joy. And we want to align wisdom with joy. So for those of you who are there for the winter practices, you know what I'm talking about here. So one more time, inhaling, coming up, and exhale, coming down. And then we're going to make fists with your thumbs on the insides of your fists. So the hold here tight, and then we're going to ground down into the earth. Relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows. Imagine that you're plugging yourself into the earth. Let's turn in one direction and do it 3 times. So we're filling the space in front and in back of us. So breathing in as you come up and breathing out as you circle down. And one more time, inhale and exhale, make fists with your thumbs on the inside and then ground down. And then over to the second side, inhale up and exhale. We do this 2 more times. Relaxing your jaw, relaxing the space between your eyebrows, simply turning in the waist here and filling up space from your heart center and your solar plexus all the way out through your middle fingers. And then ground. And place your hands on your heart again and close your eyes. And take a moment to ask yourself, what is your heart saying about resilience, about being able to stay the course, being able to keep your focus on what is unfolding as opposed to all the what ifs that can get us derailed? So take a moment to breathe into your heart's wisdom, right? Your heart's message to you about your own resilience. And then relax. And one more time, inhaling up. Exhale. Ground. Turn. And we're just taking that heart message and we're just filling up the space around you with it. And ground. And change. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. And ground. All right, let's do this again where we unmute. I'd love to hear the wisdom of this circle. So tell me, what is it that your heart is saying about your resilience? Would you let me to call on you so that maybe that way it would be easier? So I'll
Yes,
just
that's good.
So I'll start with you, Kathy L.
Strong and calm.
Strong and calm. Catherine.
Relax.
Relax. Sandra. You need to unmute. You're still muted. So I'll come back to you. Sherry, go ahead. Did you lose?
I lost my thought there. I was like, gratitude. Remember to stay in a place of gratitude first.
Okay, Sandra.
To stay focused and to stay energetic and focused.
Okay, Yolanda, unmute yourself, and Jeff.
Balanced.
Balanced, yes, that's actually a perfect balance is the perfect heart harmony. That's beautiful. Yolanda.
Just deep breath, deep breathe in, breathe out. Try to forgive and appreciate.
Beautiful. Forgive and appreciate it. Arlene.
Love and sunshine is all around.
All right, I love that. Rosie.
Compassion and focus.
Roya.
Forgive others so you can forgive yourself.
Beth.
Know that you can do this.
Yes, beautiful. Betty Ann.
A sense of hope.
Can use that. Amy.
Stay positive.
Stay positive. And Joelle, do you want to unmute yourself, or would you prefer not to? By the way, anyone who ever wants to pass, you don't have to do this. You can just say, I'll pass. So Joelle, go ahead and unmute yourself if you want to. Otherwise, I'll assume you would prefer to pass. Okay. All right. So let's go into the final realm, the earth realm that we're going to be aligning. So put your hands back onto your lower dantian and soften your knees, relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows. So the earth is what supports us. It's what feeds us. It's what nurtures us. It's what gives us a sense of strength, or a leg to stand on, or being able to stand your ground, to be in your empowerment. It's also the source of the unconscious. It's what's going on under the surface that we want to work with. We'll be working with that a little bit when we get into Blossom in the Spring. So when you put your hands on your lower abdomen here, I'd like you to just bounce again, just like we did at the beginning of the session today, and let your hands move your belly up and down a little bit. So we're just activating again the inner organs here. And it's just a way of doing a little bit of an internal massage. And it's also making friends with your belly, right? We live in a culture that says somehow it's not okay to have a belly. So we want to be able to love our bellies as they are, whatever the size they are, whatever the shape they are, to be able to know that this is the source of your creativity. This is the source of your power. So to be able to really be able to touch it, be able to be at home with it, very, very important. All right, good. And for the earth realm, let's just do grounding to earth. So you're going to take your left hand underneath your right hand, and the inside pads of your knuckles go into the outside. So you want to have those connected here, the pads with the back of your knuckles, and your palms relaxed. So you're creating a nice solid base here. Feet, again, hip distance apart, knees soft. Relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows. And as you inhale, just imagine going up from those bubbling well points all the way up through your spine, up through the front of your spine towards your heart, inhaling. And as you exhale, releasing down. And as we do this movement up and down, you want to have a sense that you're letting yourself receive from the earth. The source of our food comes from the earth, right? So we want to have a sense of being receptive to this gift of this planet that we live on, and to be able to do that from a place of honor, which is one of the things our friend Roya here teaches, is how to walk a path of honor. Walking a path of honor is really very earth realm based concept, being able to walk your talk, being able to stay in your own integrity. So as you inhale, you're really nurturing and supporting. Again, this has to do with resilience, which is looking like it's the theme of the day, which I didn't know until I started talking. But resilience being that the earth is supporting that resilience. Earth is supporting whatever it is that you need to do to stay in your internal connection to your power, to keep us out of any kind of victim mindset, and to stay very clear as you walk your talk, as you walk the path that's unfolding before you. So as you exhale, relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows. Imagine energy just traveling down your legs, down your feet into the earth. And then as you inhale, earth is feeding you from the bottom up, from your feet, up your calves, up your thighs, tailbone, up the front of your spine, up towards your heart. And exhale down. All right, let's place the hands on the lower abdomen now. Relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows. And as you close your eyes and as you breathe, listen for the earth, the part of you that feels empowered, the part of you that is able to receive nourishment, right? Because the earth is yin, sky is yang, so the earth is yin. This is what we're receiving in terms of support in these days for your own resilience. What is the earth letting you know you need to do to support resilience, regeneration, rebirth? And then open your eyes, and let's go ahead and do this again one more time for the earth realm. What are the earth realm themes? So Sandra, what did the earth say to you?
So the earth says to me that I just need to keep going. I have to one step in front of the other, one step, one step, one step. Just keep going.
Yes, 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Beautiful. And Catherine?
Belonging.
Belonging. Yeah, and the earth realm is all about community. It's great. Kathy?
I didn't have words come, but I noticed with my stance, it really was about balance and being grounded, staying balanced and grounded, as I felt myself weaving a little bit.
Good catch. Good notice. Arlene?
Stand balanced.
Jeff?
My hands got really hot. And and I think part of it is the message that came to me is that there's a power in gentleness.
And you model that so well, Jeff. I love that.
Thank you.
Okay, Yolanda.
I kind of feel the same feeling with the first lady. Says keep moving, keep going. Step by step.
One step at a time. Yes. Sherry.
Stand tall.
Yeah.
I can just sort of slump a little, being tired or whatever, and just remember to lift up, and then I immediately feel better and stronger.
Good. Betty Ann.
That was great demonstration, Sherry. I could see kind of went like this. I think like Kathy said, I felt, oh yeah, I'm okay, I'm supported.
Amy.
For information.
Resourceful. That word came to me right away when I started doing the exercise.
Nice. Beautiful. Beth.
Keep focus on keeping my energy up. And thank you, Sherry. You're absolutely right. That's part of it.
Yeah, when we stand tall, we're actually aligning heaven and human and earth. It's a very way to access resources. Roya.
Mine is very similar to Sherry's. Keep showing up, but stand tall doing it. So
Rosie.
Walk in common beauty.
That's beautiful. And Joelle, I'm thinking you might not want to speak, but if you do, I would welcome you too. Okay, so I want to go into Blossom in the Spring, which is going to be our focus for the rest of our time together. So we're going to take a break in a little bit, but I want to just go through this form first. So this is a seated form, so I'm going to bring out this stool here. And Sherry, if you go ahead and spotlight me again, that would be great. Let's see if we can go back a little further. All right, so you can sit with your feet on the ground. You can sit with your legs crossed. Whatever feels right for you is the right thing to do. So I'm going to probably go back and forth just so that I can model both ways. I'll start with my legs crossed. So you're going to start with your left hand underneath your right. And just like we did with the earth realm before, your back of your knuckles are going to go into the pads of the other hand. And you're just going to let your hands rest here in your lap. So it begins very much similar to the crystal generator, which we did for the winter practice. So this is just starts with the hands resting in the lap. And so I asked you at the beginning of the class, and I asked you even to check in with me if in your initial welcome email, what are the seeds that are gestating right now? What are the seeds? And it's even more than that's what happened that sounds very passive. What are the things that you have planted in terms of your intention for this year? And of course, the spring is all about this new birthing. So what is it that you've planted that you're feeling starting to come through, starting to, like how weeds will push through concrete, right? They'll find the cracks and they'll find their way around obstacles. That sense of what is emerging out of these intentions that you may have had at the new year, if you set resolutions or intentions, or you may have just been ruminating on as we move into whatever this 2025 holds for us. So take a moment to just tap into what the seeds are, or seeds, and it can be more than one, but let's see what comes to the surface in your awareness. What seed are you planting? So we've aligned heaven, human, and earth, and we've got some really beautiful messages from each of those. So now it's like, what is the new project? It could be working on a relationship. It could be working on a new business deal. It could be working on a creative project. It could be working on your own, how you do self-care. It may be resolutions around sleeping, better sleep patterns, habits. Whatever the thing is, take a moment to just breathe into this, because if you think of this qigong that we're going to be doing as a kind of a medicine that will, or a supplement that'll help support the emergence of what is coming through in a way that makes it effortless and easier, or filled with ease. That's what this is about. It's about not striving, not trying. It's about allowing things to come forward. So that's what I want you to focus on. If you had this sense of a medicine supporting you to allow this whatever is evolving in you, whether it's something that you're bringing new energy to that's you've done for a while, or something that's brand new, or something in between, what is it? Okay, so just take a moment to breathe and close your eyes and just listen for that. What is it you want to bring your attention to today? Now you can do this form all, for as long as you like, and do it with focus on other focuses during the week and months to come. But for today, what do you want to bring your focus to? What are the seeds that you're nourishing right now? What is the seed that you're nourishing? And as you breathe, just relax your jaw and let your breath come down into your hands. So Jeff mentioned his hands getting really hot. This is a good sign that she is moving. It starts to create what's called plum hands. Okay, let's open the eyes. And we're just gonna move through the whole form, and then we'll break it down after our break. But right now I'm gonna just lead you through it, and there's a story that goes with it. So I'm gonna talk the story. And those of you who've heard me say this probably over 100 times, hang in there with me. All right, so a new seed, warmed by the heart, falls down to earth. So this is about your intention, falling down to earth. And we water that seed, just follow me with your hands, with your thoughts and your intentions and your feelings. And then there's this little wave of energy that goes through the hands. And then the fingers point down, and they represent roots going down into the earth. And as your hands go down, you're imagining these roots moving around any stones or obstacles, just going for the water and the nourishment of the earth itself. Then, having received that nourishment, this little seed starts to put out a stem, which corresponds to the trunk of your body. So here we're corresponding, starting with the tailbone and the hips. And then that stem unfurls, it pushes up through the surface of the earth and goes all the way into the light of the sun. So this is just this first little seedling. And from there, that seedling puts out its very first branch, which has to do with your heart's desire, your heart's intention. And there's a wave of energy here. And then a leaf appears, and that heralds a bud. So the bud is the potential that we're holding in our awareness right now. That bud begins to open, and then it appears to close for a moment to gather more strength, courage, and compassion from the earth. From the heart. And then opens out into full blossom. And our hands are going to, our palm heels, wrists are going to go back, and then the wrists are going to float forward. Then the middle finger points down, all the fingers point down, and then rotate up. And here we are in full blossom. So this is a moment where the intention of the seed that you've been focusing on has come to fruition. There's a sense of you've achieved it, you're there, you're seated in your throne of power, the flower is fully open, you're just emanating the goodness that intention has, and you're going to gather the essence of that blossom and then bring it down in front of you. And then we're going to add to that essence, that blossom essence, the light of the sun and the moon and the stars, the planets, the wisdom of the cosmos, and that creates an elixir. And we're going to drink in that elixir, that wisdom of the blossom plus the wisdom of the cosmos, and we're taking this elixir in through every cell of your body. You're just bringing your hands down the front of your body, just imagining it going all the way from the cells on the hair of your skin all the way down to the marrow of your bones. And then we're going to envelop ourselves in this elixir. You're going to take it all the way up in front and go down your back and let your elbows come down. And we're going to just sit for a moment and just imagine ourselves enveloped in this medicine for your intention. And you notice that the palms are turned up here towards the sky, towards the cosmos, and also towards your ears, because we're opening up our inner listening. And from there, we then go raise all the way up as that blossom comes to seed. And those seeds scatter in the wind and fall to earth along with old leaves, composting. So this is the end of that life cycle. And this is all about how, it's about our legacy. It's about how when you're walking your talk, you influence those around you. That's what the scattered seeds represent. And then each of those seeds in its own timing sends out its roots to go down into the earth. And then the end of the form, we're going to bring both hands up, and we start with the left hand coming up the center line of your body, and the right hand follows. So it's creating like they're related. One hand goes, the other hand is relating. So as they go, you want to have them sort of like on a wheel. And this represents yin and yang. It represents the life cycle of life, death, rebirth that unites us with all living beings. And then the right hand comes back to the left. Left is underneath again. And at the very end of the form, a new seed warmed by the heart falls down to earth. I'd like you to take a moment just to close your eyes, relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows. And as you breathe, like you just to notice where you feel like you are in the cycle of your seeds, right? So we were looking at the seeds, you feel like you're just bringing something forward. Does it feel like, oh, you're going through another reiteration of something that you've been working on? Or you have some parts of you that feel like, okay, they're coming to a conclusion. Other parts are in full blossom. Other parts are in the expansion, contraction of, there's all the different ways. So just think of a life cycle of a plant or a flower particularly. And what would be an image or a sense of where you are in your process. And then take a moment to picture a flower of any kind. It could be a rose, it could be a camellia, it could be a crocus that's just coming through the snow. It could be anything. Traditionally, this form is based on the peach blossom, which were lined the gates for a lot of Taoist temples, and they represented protection. So whatever flower comes to mind is the right one for you. All right, good. Let's clap the hands together, rub them, and we're going to bring the hands down the front of your body, all the way down to your legs, up the back, and then out. And then you're going to splash yourself with this chi that we've just been generating for our last hour plus together. And we're going to just take a little break now. So let's see, I think we can go until 12:30. So it's 5 after 12. It was 5 after whatever the hour is where you are. So we're going to go for, let's say, yeah, till the half after. Okay. I'm going to stay here. If you have any questions or comments or things you want me to focus on, or that you want to be sure I know, I'm here. And if you want, come back a couple minutes early, just so that we can regroup, and then we'll start again at half past the hour. While we're waiting for people to come back, are there any questions or comments or things that you want to say about what we've done so far? Any questions, comments, or observations? Welcome back, Kathy. I'm asking if anybody has any questions or comments or anything about what we've done so far. Amy.
Vicky,
Yeah.
I just feel that I have more energy since we started.
Oh, that's so
the session.
good. Good. I'm so glad.
I really liked the last practice that you led us in, kind of the planting of the seed and the process a seed goes through and growth. It was great metaphor. I really liked that.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, that's what we'll be working on for the rest of our time. So I'm glad that you like it. Any other questions or comments or observations? I love that you feel more energy, Amy. That's awesome. That's a goal.
One comment that I would make is that I need to remind myself because I'm doing some other, physical planting, that I need to weed, and that's a constant process so that other seeds can show up that I didn't realize that were out there, which whether it's inside or physical ones, and that I need to keep weeding.
Yeah, that's great. It's the process of discernment, right? Because weeds are just plants we don't want. So looks like we lost Jeff. Did Jeff go? Okay, so that means we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've got 12 people. Okay. All right. I think that what I'd like to do, let's see, I have started the recording again. Good. So let's go through the form one more time, and then we're going to dive into some of the training pieces of it. So I'll do it this time with my feet down. But when you put your, I guess I need to go further back. When you put your roots down with the hands, they'll just come to rest on your knees. If you're seated cross-legged, they're here. So left hand underneath the right. And if you are seated with, not cross-legged, make sure your feet are on the ground. All right, so we're going to begin with a seed warmed by the heart, falls down to earth. And then we're going to water that with your thoughts and your intentions and your feelings. And then there's this little wave of energy as the roots go down, seeking nourishment from the earth below, water and composted energy. And then those seeds then have enough nourishment that they're able to send out a stem, which pushes up through the winter hardened surface of the earth. So just imagine lifting up with your crown, because the stem is rising here, and then takes a moment to sit in the sun. So this little seedling gets filled with chlorophyll, starts to turn green. And then from there, that seedling puts out its very first expression from the heart, which is a branch. There's a wave of energy, and a leaf appears. And that heralds the appearance of the bud. The bud begins to open, and then it appears to close for a moment to gather more strength, courage, and compassion from the heart before opening out into full blossom. And there's the fingers go down and then they come up, and we take a moment just to sit in full blossom. Then you're going to gather the essence of what that blossom is and bring it down in front of you and add to it the light of the sun and the moon and the stars and the planets, which create a medicine or an elixir that you're going to drink in from your hands. You're taking that energy in through between your hands and your face, body, trunk. And then we're going to envelop ourselves in like a bubble here of good energy. Just let it go all the way down your back, all the way down to your tailbone, down to your sits bones. Okay, then that plant comes to maturity, it goes to seed. And so we're going to take a moment here just to extend. And you notice here, this is a moment, it's sort of like that Buddha I have in the background, or the hoi toi, that what this is this, a sense of being suspended between heaven and earth. We're here at the end of this life cycle, and there's a wave of energy here, and those seeds then scatter in the wind. And again, that's about the ways in which, as you walk your talk, you influence those around you. And so each of those seeds, sometimes you might just smile at a stranger in the street and it'll change their day. So then those roots go down into the earth. And then we come to the acknowledgement of the Tao, the connection between yin and yang. So one hand starts, the other hand follows. And this hand is going for this cycle of life, death, and rebirth. And the left hand waits patiently in the lap for the right to join. And then the end of the form, a new seed warmed by the heart, comes down to earth. All right. So what I'd like to do now is I'd actually like to divide you up into breakout rooms. And what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you each, you're going to have 4 minutes to talk about the seeds that you're planting and anything else that might come up for you from having done the form just a couple times, or if you've been doing it with me for years, whatever is up for you now about it. But we're going to take 4 minutes each. And what I'm going to ask is the other people in the room, I'm going to have three or four people in a room. The other people in a room, you're just going to listen. You're not going to, what I really feel very, very strongly, I want to be really sure that this lands for you, that there's not crosstalk. So this is not a place where there's a lot of wisdom in this room and there's a lot of healers, but you're not going to be giving advice. You're not going to be suggesting, hey, yeah, well, this is how I deal with it. But none of that. If the person doesn't have, if you're speaking and you feel like, okay, you don't have anything else you want to say, or you don't want to share at all, you always have that option. Then maybe just take a moment just to let people hold that space with you so that you'll just be the center of attention, but you don't have to say anything. And if you feel like you're stuck, you can ask for help, and then people can ask you questions to be able to draw out whatever it is that you, but basically what I want you to talk about is, what are you planting? What is this a medicine or a nourishment for in your life right now, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a new habit, whether it's a creative project or a business project or something else, whatever it might be, to just let yourself speak about it a little bit. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start the breakout rooms. Do you have any questions before I break us up into little rooms? So if you can unmute yourself and be sure, and then I'll let you know when 4 minutes is up, and then the next person will go. All right. I'm going to assume that this is clear because I'm not seeing any questions come up. All right.
Should I take you off spotlight when we do this?
Doesn't matter because they're going into different rooms.
Okay.
Vicki, a question before you go. We each have 4 minutes, or it's 4 minutes for 4 of us?
You each have 4 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You can just greet each other, and we'll start the clock in just a minute. I don't know if you see that there's a timer on your screen, but I will let you know when the first 4 minutes is up. So go ahead, and maybe the person with the shortest hair will go first. The person with the shortest hair will go first. Anybody have anything in particular they want to report from your group?
So many things.
Yeah, so resounding no or too many things, right? Yeah, okay. Well, let's keep going because I'd love you to actually be able to have this form by the time we're done. So you're gonna have a seat again, and hopefully you're hydrating. Actually, I'm gonna stay with my feet down. So we're gonna go through just is there a question? Okay, so we're gonna go through this next. I'm sorry, I'm hearing somebody, and I wasn't sure if you were just not muted or if you had something you wanted to say to me. I'm going to assume that you'll speak again if you have something to say. All right, so let's begin with just the first part of this form. So what you've just been talking about or exploring with your members of your group, the seed, and it lands here on the ground. And then we water it with the thoughts and our feelings, our intentions, and then that seed opens. There's a wave of energy through the hand. So it's just like a little ripple. It looks like this. So as much as you can, in fact, just play with that. See if you can just let your hand become supple. Very good for those of us who have arthritis in our fingers. And then the fingers point down and go down onto the knees. All right, so let's just do that a couple times. I'm going to move a little further back so you can see my hands when they come down. All right, so left hand to the right, coming up and then down, open. The elbows lead this here. So the elbows come out and the arms come around. The arms float forward, and then there's this little ripple. So it's like an energetic awakening. It's a quickening, right? A quickening. And then the fingers point down and the hands come to rest onto the legs. All right, so this is the part where we really think about how the roots, how your roots are nourishing you. This means accessing from your ancestors. It can mean accessing from the earth itself. It can be accessing from what is underneath the surface. So the unconscious, being able to really listen in at those times when we can really tap in and hear our own, what is the next step I need to take? So again, we're just going to do this a few times just by rote. So up and down, elbows lead out, the hands come back a little bit by the hips, and then the elbows circle out, the hands follow. It comes up here, and it comes to about belly button height here, and then there's a wave of energy. And then you want to focus on the very tips of your fingers. So see if you can feel those tips of the fingers wake up as you let your hands and your palms come down to your knees. And one more time, inhaling up and exhaling down and out. And then wave And then the fingers come down onto the legs. Relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows. So I'd like you to take a moment now just to close your eyes and breathe and just listen for what nourishes you. So this is a little bit of an echo of what we did with the earth realm when we were doing the grounding to earth practice. But for right now, I'd like you just to run through you. So I talked about a bunch of different foods that would be nourishing for this time of year. So it could be something as literal as foods, or it could be something like emotional support that you might get from talking to somebody who really gets you, or anything else. What are the things that nourish you, that allow you to be able to move down into the earth? So what is that nourishment? And then the second question I have is, what are blocks to that nourishment? So what is it that keeps you from getting that nourishment? And question number 3 is, what can you do to move around those obstacles without trying to push through anything, but to really adapt so that you can still receive what you need to receive? So what nourishes you? What creates a block? And what can you do to move around that block? Just take a moment just to listen in. What nourishes you? What blocks you? What can you do to move around that block? All right. So again, feel the sense of that connection, that what you've owned of your intention here, and then allowing this to begin to open up to this wave, this quickening, and then moving, going for the nourishment, adapting to the soil so you find it, right? That you move around those obstacles. All right. And so now I'd like you to just go ahead and put in the chat, if you would, what is it that, what nourishes you? What blocks it? And what can you do to adapt? What just comes to you just off the top of your head? So please put that in the chat. And if you're watching this as a recording, I'm very interested in your responses. I always read things that follow up. So please do this exercise. It's worth taking the time to do. And then write me what your answer is to the different prompts. So I'm looking at the chat. Don't spend a lot of time thinking. Just go ahead and put down the 3 things. And if you are blank on one of them, just say blank. But just let's just sort of touch base with it. And again, it's not something you have to take like super seriously. Just let yourself feel it. So nourished by good, healthy food, blocked by fatigue, Sherry, and what would you do to move around that fatigue? How do you manage that? Betty Ann, nourishment, doing a cleanse. Yes, me too. And the blocks are your ability to commit and follow through, and working around it is to create realistic goals. So not be a perfectionist in the cleansing process is good. You're nourished by a good meditation, Yolanda. Yes, there's nothing like it. I know that you said mediation, but I think you meant meditation. But let me know if you meant mediation, it's something different, and that would be very interesting to hear. Sandra.
I mean, meditation.
Meditation, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah. That's what I thought you meant. And the blocks are that I need a focus for you, Yolanda. And Sandra, you're saying your blocks are uncertainty and laziness, and the answer is to take one step at a time. Good. Roya, nourishment, reading and talking to your sister, and I'm thinking that's Sonia. Blocks, responsibilities, and negative talks, and working around it is meditation and pattern interrupt. I love pattern interrupt. That's very interesting. And Sherry, you're moving around your fatigue by taking naps as needed. And Qigong, Roya says, good. Arlene, you're nourished by talking to people who get you and by eating good, healthy food too. Blocks energy levels are focused on healing, not this. And I'm reading this out loud for those of you who are at the recording, but also just to name it, because when it's vibrating in the air, then that's something that's of meaning. And what you can do is you can reach out more, Arlene. That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Kathy, nourished by nature and feeling energetic. And I'm imagining Kathy dancing also, right? Because you're a dancer, but blocked by hesitation and some fear by not being good enough. Okay, and then how do you move around that block? And Beth, nourishes you nature and emotional support. Your blocks are distractions, and unblock is keeping your internal eyes open. Yes, beautiful. Amy, you're nourished by exercise. Me too. Block is prioritization. Ah, yes, yes, that sense of squirrel, and it's important to use and so you need to put it at the top of the list. And so I think maybe that's what you're saying is creating a list is your way around that block, maybe, and putting it in order. Catherine, being with people is what nourishes you. You get blocked by forgetting or putting off commitment to groups or to groups on a schedule. Yeah, sometimes we don't want to be tied in, I know. So how do you work with that? What is your workaround for that? And Rosie, emotional and touch support. Block is proximity. And the way around it maybe is to remember how deserving you and others are. That's very, very beautiful. This is so much wisdom in this group. It always feels worthwhile to me to go into some of this depths. So Kathy, you're moving around your block by working on your solar plexus energy, working on not feeling perfectionist about what you want to do. Oh, amen to that. It's so good, so good. So there's a lot of brilliance here. I don't know about you guys, but when I read these things, I feel like, oh, there's a lot of me toos here. Pretty much with everybody, I would say. So that's another reason why I think it's so useful to hear from the wisdom of this small group that we are today. All right, so shall we keep going, or have I missed anything? Did I miss anybody? No, I think we're good. All right, so let's go ahead and do that little movement again, and then we'll move on to the next piece. All right, so left hand under the right, and we begin by the seed. Take a moment to feel that seed, what you claimed, named, either in their small group or in general, and then let that seed drop down to earth. And then we allow that seed to respond to being in the earth, open up, put its tendrils down, its roots down around sticks, stones, obstacles, and then we let that seed put out its stem. And now here, I want you to connect, as your hands come in here, connect to your tailbone, and then lift up through your spine. So just, actually, let's all do that. So let yourself slump a little bit, and then let your crown lift so that you're letting space go in between each of the vertebrae. So again, just let yourself slump a little bit, and then lift up through the crown, not your chin. Keep your chin down, neck, top of the back of the neck is long, top of the head lifts. And let's do that one more time, this little slump, and then lifting up and feeling that space. And as you do, let the elbows come out, and then the arms come up. And it's a sense here that energy is traveling up, just like an asparagus, right? It's lifting up through your spine. And that's what's raising the hands. And then coming down to this moment of being able to breathe into the chlorophyll. This is the ripening, the maturing of this little seedling as it just, and so the sun represents your wisdom. Your wisdom feeds the resolve of this project or this intention that you have. And then we send out the first branch, this is the first indication from the heart, and there's a wave of energy, and a leaf appears, and then a bud. So let's take it from here where we're in the roots. I think you all remember this. It's just this. That was a little fast motion. And then we're going to draw energy up from the earth and bring it down to the very base of your spine, which corresponds to that seed. And then the seed puts out its stem, and there's a sense of lifting up through the crown, letting space happen between your vertebrae. And then there's this moment of rest. I always think of this image of a cat or a dog resting in the sun, just a sense of it's totally relaxed and just letting yourself be filled with that green energy that happens in response to sunlight. And then there's this sense of going out there and letting yourself feel for this expression happening. And then they get the leaf, and then it circles into the bud. Now, if you have any questions about these movements as I go along and you can't quite see it, or just let me know so that I can tell you. Just unmute yourself and ask me. We have a small enough group today for us to be able to do that. So, which is part of the joy of having a smaller group, right? So again, we're going to go, let's go from the beginning, up and down, and then open, and then wave, and then rooting. And then from there, taking your hands in, connecting to the bottom of the spine, and now letting your spine lengthen from the crown of your head, staying rooted through your sits bones as your hands come up. And this represents a tremendous amount of life force, right? That's early birthing of a seedling. It's enormous what it does, right? It's just really a big thing. And then it comes and it gets this reward of this nourishment now from below and from above. And so this image here of being nourished from above by the sunlight, from below from the water and the nutrients of the earth, this is the human realm. The human in Qigong, or at least in many of the systems I've studied, the heart and the center of us, the human realm between the heaven and earth, is the vessel that carries energy down to earth from our inspiration to something happening, and from the things that we do, feeding back up to that inspiration. So we are in the center here. The heart is the center of the system. Then from there, we, again, for the attention from the heart expands out. First expression of the heart here. And there's a wave of energy. There's the leaf. And then there is the bud. All right, take a moment to rest. Oh, Zoom always surprises me with these little, anyway, I would love to have you speak now, just to name, if you would, what are some of the what are some of the branches that are coming out? What are some of the indications that things are on the move for you? So you've talked about what your intention is. What are some of the ways you're seeing that being expressed in you, in your life right now? So I'm going to go ahead and have you just unmute and speak again. So I'm going to go ahead and call you again, because that seemed to work well. And Betty Ann, you're already unmuted, so I'll start with you.
Well, my intention is around standing solid and strong in my value in my business this year. With seedlings that have been gestating and planted. So it's, yeah, I can't really explain it. It's just opening my internal eye, as Beth would say, I guess, open to what it is right now. What are the positives? What are the things that need to shift? What are the opportunities? So you're paying attention. So this expression is the paying attention and tracking and noticing. Yes. Beautiful. Yes. Okay, Sandra.
Well, things are going forward. Things are happening. I see my house being completed. Richard and I are making plans for our trip, and things seem to be moving well. And so
you're seeing signs that are literally coming forward in terms of the completion of that project. Beautiful. How about you, Beth?
I'm feeling the big trip was major because it was an exercise in saying we have to put in rest days so that we can do all of the difficult things. And it was just so beautiful and wonderful, and so reinforced my sense about balancing the self-care. And a couple of things are happening with my leading Qigong groups. One is forming at my synagogue, And I'm probably going to do one at the Pacifica Senior Center too. And so it's like, I finally said, forget the other stuff, forget all the food banks and all that. This is where I want to put my energy in.
Excellent. Good. So you're seeing that happen all around you as
Yes.
opportunities to share. Beautiful. How about you, Kathy?
Sorry, I'm still thinking.
Okay, you keep thinking. That's fine.
I've been doing a little bit of networking and reaching out. So it's in process. Things are in process. I don't have anything super.
Well, this branch, what that symbolizes is the networking. It is the reaching out. It's making the contacts. It's going in and connecting with people. That's what it is, right? Because that then leads to whatever it is that you want to do in terms of
Yes.
collaboration or teaching or whatever you have on your
Yes.
thought for your intention.
Yes,
Beautiful. Thanks, Kathy. How about you, Arlene?
I guess the indicators are I'm feeling calm and grounded in my own power.
Wow, fantastic. Roya.
Oh, I have to agree with Arlene. I love the way she put it. I feel like that's what I'm feeling. And also I'm forgiveness is one branch, freedom, and this feeling of just kind of like letting go of the heavy weight and feeling light. So
No, it's such a good thing for Ramadan too, right? It's beautiful. Catherine.
Hi, I'm appreciating commitments and working to take the breaks that I need to keep up with the commitments and share what I've learned and appreciate and being able to share that, and then be participant in other groups where I'm not the leader and giving myself a break. That's good.
Yeah, so really balancing how much you put out and how much you draw
Right.
in. That's beautiful. Okay, Yolanda.
I just every day I try to make a little bit of progress towards my business, and I try to feel appreciated to even small things in my life. Try to remember the good things that happened to me.
Yeah, so gratitude and identifying that what's positive as you develop that business. That sounds really powerful. Rosie.
This is sort of starting from Nourish the Flame, which was to organize abundance. So that is like discernment of, what is important in any given moment, what is my responsibility, what do I have to give? And some of that involves the letting go of things. But community is a big one right now as well, and that I don't, in a certain sense too, there was someone else saying I don't have to be the leader and all. I'm doing a lot of listening and observing and then acting upon it and trusting in my own integrity about that. So, which involves pacing as well. And I'm trying to get on your sleep schedule and whatnot. So all three parts are involved here. The heart really is the central one because from that. And as far as the earth goes, the other thing I wanted to add is I've been with the permaculture stuff, studying about and listening to people talking about growing mushrooms and the ones that are underneath. When I was thinking of the roots, there's nutrients in the earth, but there's a lot alive under there as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of communication there. Yeah, that's a big conversation. Yes.
Yes.
So Sherry.
Mine also began, I think, the early part of the year. Some affirmations I made during Nourish the Flame, and since then, wanting the vitality has been my focus, of vitality in all realms. And I can say that resting and napping and being appropriate with my choices, I have been getting more energy and good food. And the large part, as several of us have said, is like focusing on gratitude. That and shifting, like where do I want to put my energy in any day? So all these practices all these seeds are beginning to really come forth now. I'm feeling better now, more inspired, more energized than I think I have actually in years.
Beautiful. You know, it's been interesting to hear how many of you, when you talked about this, you know, what is the tendrils, what's coming forth, echoes a lot of what you said that the heart was wanting in your chat. So I just think I'm tracking that and noticing it. Amy, I know you've got your video turned off. I don't know if you'd like to share or not. I'd love to hear
Sure.
you.
Yes, I
Thank
just
you.
forgot to turn it back on. For sure. So for me, because I wanted to build more relationship and getting back into building more with the companies I'm working with my business, and relationship is what I've been nurturing. I feel that the more I'm giving, whether I'm giving my time, giving my attention, giving it to more people, that it's coming back to me, and it's building up. So it's nothing like as big as happening yet, but I know I can sense that is there is signs.
And that's exactly what this is. It's not that things are happening. It's that expression is out there and it's now encapsulated in the bud. That's beautiful. A wonderful way to close. And Joellen, I miss your voice. And if you want to put it in the chat, I'm sure that more people than me would love to hear what you might want to say. Okay, Joellen is sick today, so she's without a camera and microphone. So let's go back into the form. Go ahead and have a seat. And Sherry, if you could spotlight me again. And thank you for that. Left hand under the right, up. Now we're going to go through this pretty quickly, just as a little reminder here. And this is where we go around those obstacles. And then we come into the trunk and up. And we're here. Push. And there's this wave of energy before the leaf happens, and then the bud. All right, so the next step, the bud appears to open, and then it doesn't appear to open, it begins to open, and then it appears to close. So this is a little bit of an expansion. It's like sending out a trial balloon. I'm going to try calling somebody that I feel intimidated by, or I'm going to try eating this particular food that I know is good for me, or I'm going to, whatever it is, it's a trial. And then every expansion in nature is followed by a contraction. And so this particular thing here, when we're starting out and then coming back in, we're gathering more strength, courage, compassion from the heart. Because, you know, a lot of times when you start to own your power, or when you start to stand big, or you start to stand tall, I know I was talking to one of you about this the other day, of like people trying to cut you off at the knees, or say somehow you don't deserve, or somehow you're not all that, right? So this is this coming back to what the original intention is, getting with your heart, because this testing ground is when you start to really develop your power. Angeles Arians used to say something about, you know, the tea bag gets stronger when you soak it in hot water. It's like, so you're sort of soaking in hot water here, and it's getting stronger in you, because then when you go out into the full blossom, which is the next step, you are that with the sort of full capacity of having dealt with the doubts, whether they're inner demons or external you know, approaches or external discounts or dismisses. So so again, we go from the bud, it begins to open, it appears to close, and then it opens out into full blossom after that testing. The wrists go back first, the wrists come forward. I don't know if that's very hard to see. So the wrists come back, and then the wrists come forward. The wrists are all about pathways in the brain, right? They find that when kids start to crawl, if they crawl, that they tend to learn things quicker and better. They find that children who go right up into standing and don't do a lot of crawling, they haven't used those wrists as much. They tend to have a little bit more problems with learning disabilities. I know that's been true for me. So anyway, you go back, wrists, and then the wrists come forward. Then the fingers go down, your shoulders are relaxed, and then the fingers turn up. So it's almost like you've hit 4 corners, back, front, down, and up. And here you're in full blossom. So this is this moment here of feeling your power. Your intention has come to fruition. You are there, you're owning it, you're letting yourself feel it. Okay? So, and then just take a moment to relax. So from the bud, it begins to open, it appears to close. It opens fully, the wrists go forward, the wrists come back forward, and then up. I didn't say that well as I was demonstrating it, so I'm going to do it again. So from bud, begins to open, appears to close, goes open, the wrists lead you going back. The wrists lead you coming forward, the fingers point down, the fingers point up, your elbows are soft, your spine is really long. Let yourself feel those sits bones on the seat. Let your feet be on the ground. And then release. So I'd love you to write in the chat an answer to this prompt, which is, I feel most in my power when or the signs that I know I'm in my power are. So I feel most in my power when or the signs that I know I'm in my power are. So we're just going to really take a moment to feel what empowerment feels like for you. And it feels different for different people, right? Some people, it's a very quiet thing. Other people, it's taking up the space that they need to take up. It can be a lot of different things. So I can feel my power most when and then just fill in the blank, or the signs that let me know that I'm in my power are. And just go ahead and put that into the chat. When you're feeling calm and confident, Arlene, when you sign up to do the work of Roya, when you let people know about that decision, Sandra, so you're expressing yourself from that place of power. What else have we got? What are the other ways? When people respond to what you say and do? Beth. What are other ways? When the client has taken a step forward in their writing and storytelling, that's beautiful. So you're getting that feedback, you know that the work that you've done has been effective, Betty Ann. When you step forward with decision and desire, whoops, I'm going fast. Decision and desire, get positive feedback and results. That's fantastic. Rosie, when you're moving with inner conviction, and Roya, confidently walking your path with honor. Yolanda, when you complete each task, finish a client meeting, and you see progress there. Wonderful. Anybody else? Go ahead and put it in the chat. And then we're going to go back into the movement in just a moment. But I'm just thinking that this, I think that this is very full. I love what you're saying. I love what you're acknowledging here. And I think this form is super rich. Obviously, we can only scratch the very surface of it. And I'd love to know what's standing out for you at some point, and how you can use it, what insights you have from doing it. But as I said, this is again scratching the surface. So that just leads me to tell you that I do have an 8-week series coming up spring to summer. So it's liver practices and moving into then heart practices. And what we'll be working with is finding ways, at least in the first half of the series, to soothe the liver. And we'll also be working on a practice to tonify it. And Sherry, I don't know if you have access to it, but if you could put the link in the chat for people to know when this series is beginning on April 14th. So we have some time. But the theme is calm, inner knowing, and trust. So you're going to be calming any resistance or discomfort you might be feeling this spring. You're going to be listening to the messages of your body in some of the ways that we've done already, and see what the ideas are that are wanting to come forward. We'll work with grounding in that internal power that allows you to step from one moment to the next with your full intention and be ready for anything. And trust the natural process of the season and yourself, so you can go forward with ease and flow instead of stress and resistance. So part of how we do that in this series is we'll be working some more with Blossom in the Spring, and we'll be working with a form called the Universal Integration Form, which is all about aligning yourself. So when we align and energize each of these centers of the triple dantian, when we're able to have that sense of their interconnection and how they feed one another, then we are filled with energy, and that allows us to make connection. And connections are super important right now, right? We need to be in community as much as possible, and certainly being in a chi field together is part of that. So I hope that you'll join me for that. I mean, in fact, if you do, let's say by Friday night, I have a video that's just a practice video for Blossom in the Spring, where I'm just talking you through it, not going into a whole lot of unpacking like this. And of course, you can always use the recording that we've done, because we've done the form a couple times here today, so you could use that. But a bonus for you would be one that's specifically just to practice with. And it also has a PDF journal thing that you can use to fill out and do a little deeper work than we can have time to do in a 3-hour workshop. Sometimes I've taught this form over a weekend, so you can imagine that I have all kinds of games and tricks and trials to be able to find, how to make the form alive for each person. But I wanted to get to you at least the highlights of it here. So again, this starts in April, and it'll be going into the beginning of June. It's an 8-week series, and 45 minutes every Monday, from 12:15 to 1 Pacific, which is 3:15 to 2. That's 3:15 to 4. Is that right? Yeah, 3:15 to 4. East Coast, and then Kathy, I'll let you figure it out from there, because my brain isn't working that well around the math. All right, so let's go back into the form, and thank you all for saying what your power is. I see I'm Catherine, in your power when you are prepared and you act, and that's fantastic. Let's see, did I miss anybody else? No, I think we've got everybody. I don't know if you said anything, Amy, but let's go ahead and go back into the form. So left hand under the right. And then we're gonna just take it to its conclusion, so you get to learn the whole form. All right, so inhaling up and exhaling down. And there's a whole breathing pattern that goes with this, as well as different places where you put pressure and where you release. A lot of things that we can't take time with today that help to activate the form even more. But I want you to at least have the bare bones, the skeleton of the form. So left hand comes under the right. And you're going to inhale and exhale, a seed warmed by the heart. So that's just the opening breath. Water it with your thoughts, your intentions, and your feelings. And then there's a wave of energy, and the roots start to go down into the earth, gathering that nourishment. Those seeds then are able to connect to the stem. The stem starts to push up through the winter hardened surface of the earth and go into the light of the sun. Shoulders are down. Relax your jaw. Relax the space between your eyebrows. And then that stem puts out its first expression from the heart. This is this branch. There's this wave. And then there's the leaf, which heralds the bud. And let's just take a moment here, shoulders down, to feel for the potential of everything that you can do and bring when you're in that kind of alignment. There's a moment where the bud opens, and then it appears to close. This moment of contraction, which is part of the natural unfolding. We contract into the heart, gather more strength, courage, compassion. It's really inward looking before going out into full blossom. And then we open up into that full blossom. All right, going to gather the essence of what that blossom is and bring that essence down in front of you and add to it, again, the light of the sun and the moon and the stars. This is all about connecting to universal wisdom. We are all one consciousness. And that creates this elixir, that your own personal empowerment, along with universal guidance, and we're co-creators of our lives, and drinking that in to every cell of your body from the cells that make up the hair on your skin, all the way down to the cells that make up the marrow of your bones. Just imagine this going all the way down into the very bone structure. And then we're going to envelop ourselves. So it's almost like just jumping into the pool of this medicine, of this elixir, and the elbows come down. And you do want the elbows to drop, the shoulders to drop, the the wrists are flexed and the palms are turned up so that you're listening here. And just this inner listening. So this is we're going to go through the end now, going all the way up to the blossom coming to seed. And again, the seed is to do with the influence that you have in the world that you are in, right? And the communities that you are part of. There's a wave of energy here. And there's the sense here that you don't even know how many seeds you get to scatter. You don't, you're not even tracking them, but they're each of this is basically, it's the ripple effect of you are walking your talk, and that influences the people around you, the beings around you. And then there's this moment where all of those seeds then each in their own timing take their root. Okay, then there's this conclusion here where we have one hand starts, the other hand follows, the cycle of yin and yang, and life, death, rebirth, which is that interconnecting that we have with other living beings. And then there's this end is the same as the beginning, as a new seed warmed by the heart falls down to earth. Okay, so let's take that ending part again, where we're here in full blossom, gathering the essence, adding the heavenly influences, letting those mix together here to create the elixir, and then drinking it in through the pores of your skin, and the pores or the openings, the receptor cells, the receptor points in each cell, coming down and then enveloping yourself all the way up and down. And come up and wave. And then the hands come down. And then there's this moment of rooting. And then this conclusion here, one hand coming up and followed by the other one. And the end is the same as the beginning, as a new seed warmed by the heart falls down to earth. Okay, I'm going to have you close your eyes for a moment. And before we move in, we'll do the form a couple more times before we conclude today. But for right now, I'd like you just to breathe into your center. Breathe into your core. Relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows, and just take a moment just to rest and just feel whatever you feel. Notice whatever you notice, either in your mind or in your body or in your emotions or in your spirit, that's responding to the call of this form. So tomorrow, as we, or in the middle of the night for some of us, as we, go into this time of equinox, of turning from yin to yang, of the shift from the quiet of winter into the emergence of spring, I'd like you just to take a moment to feel yourself at that turning point, at that fork in the road, or that shift of energy. And as you breathe, feel your lungs expand and contract. See if you can feel the ribs move inside of your body here, the floating ribs expanding and contracting along with the lungs. And as you breathe out, just imagine yourself releasing anything that feels like it's effortful around the projects or the intentions that you've set. So we're going to inhale, making internal space. And as you exhale, a sense of releasing and relaxing and allowing. Okay, again, inhaling and expanding, opening up space. And as you exhale, relax, allowing yourself to move into what's called Wu Wei or effortlessness, or it's pronounced Wu. So as you breathe, every time you inhale, it's a sense of opening up, expanse, and room for unfolding. And every time you exhale, you're releasing effort. Then open your eyes if you would. And we're just doing this string from the bud where we open, inhale, exhale, let the contraction happen and welcome it. It's a time for inner knowing, inner strength. And then inhale out. Okay, so let's just do that again from the bud. Inhale, let your ribs expand. Exhale, letting go of trying and efforting and coming back into your own inner knowing, your inner heart. And then that is what feeds you as you expand into full blossom. So let's go ahead and do that one more time, if you would humor me. So again, inhale and exhale. And inhale. And let's just keep breathing. We're just gonna let the hands do their thing as we open up into full blossom. And if you were to think for a moment and just feel the extension from your heart all the way out through the arms, all the way out through the tips of your fingers, feel your clavicles smile. It's a sense here of opening from the heart. Bring your hands back down, close your eyes for one more moment. Going back into that full blossom in your mind's eye with your arms out to the sides. I'd like you to just take a moment now to think of, if you were to think now of an affirmation of what full blossom is for you this season as we move into equinox. This is a very potent time, a shift of energy going from down to coming up. What would the affirmation be that would allow you to support your resilience and the intention that you've set with the planting or the nourishing of these seeds today? What's an affirmation, a one sentence? Okay. Does everybody have one? I'm gonna hope that you do, because I want to do another little exercise, which what I'd like to do is have one at a time. You're gonna just you're gonna do this movement, open, in, open, and then out. And you're going to name, when you get to this point, you're going to name that affirmation so that we get to witness you. So, and I'm going to spotlight each one of you one at a time. Okay. So Arlene, would you be willing to start us off?
Well, I didn't even want to do it.
That must be why I picked you.
Okay. So, but I may need you to walk me through this, but
Yes, yes,
speak here.
yes, absolutely. Let me join you with it. Let me add my spotlight so we can do it together. All right, so it's here. That's it. So open and in. Good. And then open. And then circle the hands up. And so what is your affirmation from there?
I am completely open to positivity, growth, and healing.
Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much and sorry that I put you on the spot when you were already in your resistance, but I love that you went ahead and did it. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem.
Okay, so Amy, how about you?
Okay.
Do you
So
need
it's
help or
from
you
me,
got
right?
it? You got it.
Okay, I think I got it. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
I am enough.
Yes, you really are. Beautiful. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Kathy,
Can you come back to me, Vicky?
I can.
Okay.
Absolutely. How about you, Sherry? You ready to go? You got to start your video though.
Come back to me in a minute.
All right, Rosie. You're muted, Rosie.
Unmute. Okay, there we go. I receive guidance and community support as I move forward.
Nice. Beautiful. That's so succinct and good. Thank you. Catherine.
Just a sec here.
You got it. You're good.
Okay. Here we go. All is well.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Catherine. Okay, Yolanda.
I will do each step, progress every day.
So I believe you from the bottom of my heart. Beautiful. Thank you, Yolanda. Betty Ann.
I stand in my truth, power, and value.
Yes, beautiful. Okay, Roya.
I am ready to forgive myself so I can forgive others.
So powerful. Beautiful. Thank you, Roya. Okay, so how about Beth?
Excuse me. I am open.
Yeah, wait till you get to the full blossom and then
Got
say
it. Got it.
Yeah.
I'm concentrating on trying to remember how to
I
do
understand.
it.
Yes, yes, you're not alone.
I I am open to accepting more places I can give the gifts I have to give.
Nice. Everybody benefits. Let's see. Sandra.
Gratitude and love
Nice.
will carry me through my
Beautiful. We'll move you through what?
carry me through to the end.
Okay, good, good. Thank you, Sandra. Sherry.
I'm ready for what's next. Aligned, balanced, hopeful, going with the flow, and certainly planning to have be happy as long as I'm alive.
Beautiful. Okay, and Kathy, you ready? You're muted.
I am confident and ready to move forward with the knowledge and tools that I need and excited to share my gifts.
Beautiful. So glad you took the time to get it just right. I think I got everybody. Did I forget anybody? I'm going to assume that that's a resounding, we've all gone. I can't see anybody that I've missed other than Joellen. So let's go ahead and do the form one more time. All right, we'll just do it from the beginning. And again, we'll be working on this form a little bit more over those next few weeks, as well as starting in April, as well as the Universal Integration Form, which is a long-standing form that works beautifully with the 3 realms that we started out the class with when we were naming heaven, human, and earth. So I hope you can join me for that, so that we can get this really solidified in your body and keep that energy going as we go through these next few months together. So left hand underneath the right. And we're going to take a moment to breathe into the palms. And then a seed warmed by the heart. Actually, I think I'll do this quietly this time. You just follow along. And I ask you to close your eyes for a moment and just picture a flower, whatever flower might come to you, whatever blossom might come. Just take a moment to just picture it in your mind's eye. Good. And so we're coming to an end here. We're just about out of time. But for our last couple minutes, I'd like to finish with Pebble in the Lake. So Pebble in the Lake, for those of you that don't know, is a way to let the emanations move out. So that sense that it's like I said, when we were scattering the seeds, when you walk your talk, when you maybe smile at somebody or somebody smiles at you and you feel better for some reason that you don't even know why, all that chi field expansion, that this is Pebble in the Lake is for that. So I'd like you just to take a moment to put your hands on your lower abdomen, close your eyes, and just take a moment to focus on allowing energy to emanate from you that will be of service to those who are willing to receive it. So this is, by the way, not something where you're trying to push energy out or trying to serve or trying to take things out of yourself to give. It's really about when you're in your power, when you're in your full blossom, that is an emanating energy field. It impacts the way chi field, it impacts the field around you. So this is a really important way to end, because we want to be really aware that we're allowing ourselves to expand and be contained in this field. So hands on the lower abdomen, knees are soft, tailbone down. Take a moment to feel for who or what the people or peoples that you feel like you want to invite into this field, that you feel might benefit from this field if they're open to it. And then we're going to bring the hands so they're facing one another. The palms are facing one another. And we're going to drop that pebble. Imagine a pebble dropping down into the lake, like the bowl of your pelvis is a lake. And then there's a ripple effect. So the fingers go forward and then out and in. So your hands are describing the front part of the circle, but you're imagining that that ripple effect goes all the way around your body. So we're dropping pebble into the lake. And letting this go out like a prayer, like an embodied prayer for the planet. Again, inhale and exhale. And in and out. And in your mind's eye, you might even see individuals that you want to send this energy to. You might have names that come to you. Just let those float by. Just allow yourself to hold in your consciousness, in your awareness, in your inner thoughts, those that you would love to benefit from the work that we've done here together today as you have cultivated chi for the spring. Inhale and exhale. And that brings us to a close. Hands come onto the lower dantian. And we're going to just tap anything useful from our very fast 3 hours together. And then tap yourself here on the back for showing up for this workshop and giving yourself time in the middle of the week to work on your chi field. And then coming up underneath the arm, underneath your armpit. And then tap your chest. And then each second side, and coming up and under your armpit, and then your chest, and then coming down to your belly, and then outsides of your legs, and coming all the way down the outsides of your legs, coming up on the insides, and then tap your lower back and your upper back and back of your neck and behind your ears, and then the top of your head. Now, I'll stick around after we close today. If you have any questions or comments or want to talk to me, I'd be happy to talk with you. Let's clap the hands, rub, and bring them down the front of your body and all the way up the back of your body, around your neck, ears, and out. And you're going to splash yourself with this chi field that we've co-created today. And then we're going to splash one another, send energy out to one another, splash to one another. Good. And then splash yourself again. We always want to finish with that self-nourishment. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. I love that you stayed for the whole time. Until next time we meet, be well and let the chi flow. Bye-bye.